Before we continue with the analysis, I want to talk to you guys about JerseyFIFA.com, the home of all of the greatest football kits. Whether that's the latest home shirts, the latest away shirts, tracksuits, or even retro kits, Jersey FIFA has a bit of everything. There really is something for everyone, so if you are interested, then make sure to use the link in the description down below and head to JerseyFIFA.com. So this season, I am confident that most of you guys would agree that Manchester United are better defensively than what they were last season, and the stats back it up. Last season, Manchester United conceded 57 goals in 38 Premier League games, averaging 1.5 goals conceded per 90 minutes. If we compare that to this season, Manchester United have conceded just 26 in 21 games, which is 1.2 per 90 minutes. So that is a decrease from 1.5 per 90 down to 1.2 per 90, which means that by the end of the season, United are on course to concede 11 less goals than last season. So that means that United are on course to concede 46 goals over the course of a 38 game season, rather than 57, of course an improvement of 11 goals. United have also improved in terms of clean sheets as well. In the entirety of last season, Manchester United kept 8 clean sheets in 38 Premier League games. If we compare that to this season, Manchester United have already achieved the same tally, but in 17 games less. The improvement in the Manchester United defensive setup is clear. The question is, how has it happened? Well, of course, football is a team game, so for a football team to improve defensively, all 11 players are doing something better than what they were last season, so it is quite a broad topic to talk about. Erik ten Hag has drastically changed the system which United use defensively, and of course changed some of the personnel. So this is quite a broad topic which could be covered over several different videos. If you want that, let me know in the comments down below. Today I want to focus on the centre-backs, and before we talk about why Manchester United's centre-backs are doing well this season, we need to look at what they weren't doing well last year. So as I was saying earlier, last season Manchester United conceded 1.5 goals per 90 minutes in the Premier League, and for large periods of the season the partnership was Harry Maguire and Raphael Varane. And in my opinion, this is a partnership which just did not work. The two of them did not complement each other properly due to their differing playstyles. As you would expect, this caused a big problem on the pitch. Harry Maguire and Raphael Varane did simply not have a good understanding of each other's game. And the problem was largely Harry Maguire. Now Maguire is of course a player that I actually think is quite decent, however last season he simply wasn't up to scratch with his performances, and he doesn't suit playing in an elite level team like Manchester United. And that was really highlighted more than ever last season. Teams really targeted him, his slow feet, his ability to get caught out in 1-versus-1 situations, but also his lack of reading of the game. Harry Maguire is a player who never really seems to know whether he wants to be aggressive and front-footed or passive and play as a cover defender, and this caused big problems for Manchester United. We also need to take into consideration that Fred and McTominay were often the midfield duo supposed to be protecting them, and we all know quite well Fred and McTominay do not provide much protection to centre-backs, which meant that combined with Maguire and Varane not having a good understanding, United were conceding those 1.5 goals per 90 minutes. And the problem they had was that Varane and Maguire were both trying to do the same job, the different job. It just didn't work. So for example, if you have two defenders that are both trying to be aggressive and step towards the ball, which at times United done with Maguire and Varane, because Varane didn't trust Maguire basically to do the job it felt, if you have two defenders stepping forward and being aggressive, it means that you can then get hit with a ball over the top in behind your defence, and with a passive keeper like David De Gea you get caught out. On the other hand, at times Maguire would sit off too much, and we know that Varane also likes to be a cover defender. This then leaves loads of room in front of the defence. And again, with a midfield which doesn't protect you very well, the centre-backs are exposed, they're both backing off, and the amount of times that teams drove at the heart of that Manchester United defence last season was absolutely ridiculous. If we fast forward to this season, however, things are completely different, and that is because the relationship between Varane and Lisandro Martinez is much better. It makes a lot more sense and it is much more balanced. And we can see that if we compare Lisandro Martinez to Harry Maguire, and we can see some clear differences in the two as footballers. So just for example, so far this season, Lisandro Martinez is completing just over 2 tackles per 90 minutes in the Premier League. Compare that to Harry Maguire last season, who was only getting 1.2. In terms of interceptions, we can see that Lisandro Martinez has improved again, 0.3 increase. Clearances, he's averaging about 0.8 more than what Harry Maguire was last season, and blocks about 0.06 more than what Harry Maguire was last season. So instantly we can see that Lisandro Martinez is performing better in certain metrics, and for me it's the fact that he's tackling more, which is interesting. A player that's completing a lot of tackles suggests that they're playing on the front foot, and that's exactly what we can see in their tactics, and that's why it works so well with Varane. So as I was saying there, the stats prove that Lisandro Martinez is a more front-footed defender. He's a player that steps forward, makes interceptions, and also tackles more than what Harry Maguire did last season. But not only do we see that in the stats, we also see that in the eye test as well, which kind of appeals to both sets of fans. We can see the numbers which prove that Martinez has improved the team, but also we can see it by watching the play develop, which I know certain people do prefer. And again, Lisandro Martinez has clearly improved the Manchester United defence because of his understanding and his balance with Raphael Varane. By playing a more front-footed defender in Lisandro Martinez alongside a cover defender in Varane, it means that you have a player doing each job. You've got the aggressor and the player that covers behind. Whereas we were seeing earlier with Maguire would sometimes step forward with Varane and they would leave that gap in behind. Sometimes they would both step off, leaving that room in front of them. Now, again, we do need to consider that Manchester United have improved defensively as a system anyway, and someone like Casemiro in front of the defenders is of course a massive upgrade. However, even if we take that out of the equation, Manchester United are still better defensively thanks to the two centre-backs. Because whereas before you could get this gap in front of the Manchester United defenders, now Lisandro Martinez is nearly always the aggressor. He got that title of the Butcher while he was at Ajax, and it's clear to see why. He is always looking to step forward and engage in a tackle, and this works perfectly well with Raphael Varane, who we know likes to cover behind the defence. It just makes perfect sense as a system, because you are applying pressure to the ball and also covering the space in behind. Now, the importance of that. If you are just aggressive on the ball and don't cover the space, the ball will be played in behind your defence. If you aren't aggressive on the ball, but do cover the space, then you leave room in front of you for teams to drive at you. However, by having this combination of Lisandro Martinez stepping in and being aggressive, with Varane and covering round, it means that as a dynamic, you now have both situations covered. You are ready to deal with both threats. And this is why the two of them are playing so well this season. I think on top of this, Lisandro Martinez is also a player which just plays with a bit more tenacity, a bit more intensity, a bit more bite to his game. He's got that ability to turn quickly when the opposition are dribbling. If we look at Harry Maguire in the team, teams would often target him, dribble at him, and know that you can get Maguire off balance. He doesn't really want to come out into these areas. Get him off balance, knock the ball past him, beat him, get at the other defenders. With Lisandro Martinez, that isn't the case. And again, it's proved by the increased tackling numbers that we've seen this season compared to Maguire last year. Lisandro Martinez is a much better 1-versus-1 defender, which means Varane now has less of a job to do because the ball isn't getting to Varane as much because Lisandro Martinez is dealing with it higher up the pitch. It means that collectively, United are defending more front-footed because Lisandro Martinez has that ability to step forward, be aggressive, and win the ball back at that little bit higher up the pitch. Now, of course, Manchester United play in a league, in the Premier League, where there's a lot of quality in opposition teams, which means United can't always win the ball back high, and sometimes they do have to drop into a deep defensive block. First of all, Erik ten Hag deserves credit for that. It's something that previous managers refused to do when things weren't going well, leaving the team open. Erik ten Hag has recognised the fact that sometimes United do need to drop that little bit deeper. And from here, United's box defence, again, has significantly improved, and again it's because of these two centre-backs. Lisandro Martinez, whilst he has been criticised for his height, he is very tenacious. This guy is hungry. He wants to win every little battle. So whilst he may not win all the headers, he's always there on the second ball, on the knockdown. His blocks have increased from what Harry Maguire was producing last season. This is a guy which wants to throw himself in front of the ball. He has drawn Nemanja Vidic comparisons, and honestly, I completely get it. And then you've got Raphael Varane alongside him. Now, Lisandro Martinez is getting a lot of the credit this season. Varane, when fit, has been one of the best centre-backs in Europe this season. And what we are seeing this year is his leadership traits and his experience. This guy is really commanding and leading that defence, something which United haven't had for some time. Someone to really command the defence, push them and pull them into different positions. Varane is taking control. And what I love more than anything is that they seem to love defending. Like I said, we've got Lisandro Martinez throwing himself in front of blocks. We saw it in the latter stages against Crystal Palace when Manchester United were down to 10 men. Lisandro Martinez really putting his body on the line in the latter stages to make sure that Manchester United got all 3 points. But alongside him is that cool head of Raphael Varane, who's been there, done it all, seen it all. He knows exactly what to do in different situations, and his leadership abilities, his communication at the back, has really pulled this Manchester United defence together. They're much tighter in these areas. They also have Casemiro in front of them providing protection and experience. Altogether, Manchester United have drastically improved from a defensive point of view because these two centre-backs understand each other. They both want to defend, they want to be aggressive in the way that they defend, but also their play styles, their profiles of footballers complement each other much better than what we've seen at Manchester United in the past. And this, in my opinion, is by far Manchester United's best defensive duo in Lisandro Martinez and Raphael Varane. that we have seen since the likes of Vidic and Ferdinand were at the club, and if Manchester United can keep the two of them fit and playing alongside each other for the next couple of years, they have a real defensive base which they can build upon. Now, as I said at the start of the video, and kind of I mentioned it throughout the video, there are other aspects at play, of course, as well. Manchester United do defend as a team differently to what they did last season, and there are different personnel around them with players like Casemiro, but also Diogo Dalot at fullback, players like that. So there is more to talk about. If you want to see a video talking about Manchester United's defensive system as a whole, then make sure to let me know in the comment section down below. I am also planning a video looking at Manchester United's new pressing structure which we have seen. That video might be out by now. If so, it will be linked in the description down below. If not, it's coming soon, so make sure to subscribe. We are trying to hit 12,000 subscribers by the end of February, so if you could subscribe, that would be a massive help. And also, make sure to get in the comment section down below and let me know what you think. What do you think of the Manchester United centre-backs? How good is Lisandro Martinez? How important is Maguire-Varane's experience? And why is he going so under the radar with his performances? And what could Manchester United's defence achieve before the end of the season? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this video. And as always, I will see you in the next one.